Hey y'all, it's Rosie. Hey, I just wanted to reach out and say thank you to everybody who helped me out with this project. I've had a couple of friends, and this is a prequel to the video itself. It's going to show most of the step-by-step, more or less, of the project and what was involved. But I just want to say thank you to everybody. I also would like to ask y'all to please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. It motivates me to do more content. There's a couple of other things I've done in the meantime since I started this. Lots of things, actually. And we'll get to those, and I'm going to be putting up some more videos. But I wanted to thank everybody for that support. Coming soon, I'm going to go a little bit on a Fox Shocks suspension review. Everyone's doing Olin's. I like to go the other way. I'll see y'all soon. Hey y'all, it's Rosie Rosenblum. What is going on? Very exciting day today. Just went for a quick ride up to Julian. For those of you who know San Diego area, it's one of the best rides in the county. I'm lucky enough to live on basically the road there. Met up with a guy I met on one of the road glide forums. It's very cool. His name is Ross, and we had a lot of fun. He also has a Road Glide ST that he just got, so had a blast with him today. Great rider. Unusual for me to have a guy that just sits on my butt the whole time, so it turns out he's probably faster than I am, and good for him. Did my first damage to my bike today, which now has a total of about 120 miles on it. Oh no, what will we do? We scraped the floorboard. Anyway, today is not about that, and it's not about the seat, which I'm always constantly playing with seats. It's about what came via UPS today. These are my MX Moto handlebars, and I haven't opened this box yet, so hopefully we can see it when I open it. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe. I don't know how to open a box one-handed. Uh-oh, we got some cool foam stuff. What in the world could this possibly be? Bam! This is the Arlen Ness Method Risers. This is the way I decided to go. Let me pull these guys out so you can see them. All wrapped up very nicely. So the nice thing about these, this looks actually really cool, is the bar goes in here, and I'll pull these all out later and so you guys can see them. The bar goes in there, and right on top of that, instead of using a top clamp, you use a relocation for the gauges, and it sits on top of the risers right there, and it's gonna put it right about here, so your speedometer and your tachometer will be sitting there right in your face and not block your infotainment screen for the Boom GTS system. Excited to get going on this. I have a lot to take apart, a lot to do, and honestly try to figure this out. I'll get back to you soon. Okay, so I'm now about 5 minutes past where I just got off and said I was gonna start taking this apart. Managed to get this ignition switch out. This is super easy. I didn't realize how easy it is. There's a little button. So you can see it right there where my thumb is pushing on, right there. If you put your key in, you turn this thing all the way, and watch out for that spring that falls off. You put your key in, turn it all the way to the left, push the button, use the key, and just pops right out. Next step is removing the gauge cluster, which is right over there. This was actually pretty easy. There are, let me pull this guy up so you can see it. There's a screw hole here, so if it sits on the bike like this, you have a screw on that side, you have a screw on that side. They're both T25s. You pull that out as you're sliding it up. The easier way is as it slides up, there's a little clip, excuse me while I make you nauseous walking over here, that has this guy in there. You pull this guy down, pop it out, and then all you have to do is pull off these three connectors. There's one right here, down here, and then this one, I don't know what this goes to. It goes to like 3 dummy switches. Also, before I started, I followed the directions that came right here. It says to turn it to on and then pull the main power, which I thought was weird, but I'm following the directions to see what it says. So all that encompasses is pulling off the cover here and the main fuse, which goes right in there. I'll be back next time we get to the next step, and we'll move on. So, as I'm taking this apart, I saw a video from Thrashin Supply, and I want to thank those guys. I didn't end up going with their risers, but I'm probably going to end up going with some of their parts because I really like them. About wrapping your fairing in saran wrap. I just happen to have a roll of this from when we moved to this new house. And I wrap the fairing out so that way I can leave stuff like this, like I just pulled off the clutch lever and mirror assembly over there, pulled it off, and I can just leave it laying against there between the towel covering the tank and the plastic covering the fairing. Hopefully that'll keep everything safe from scratches and damage. I'm about to start disconnecting all of these guys right here that are your wires that go through the handlebars that give you basically all your switchgear and everything, because I'm going to pull the handlebars off and then I'm going to pull the rest of this wiring out because it's kind of a pain to do it with it on there and I don't want to screw anything up. Get back to you soon. Okay, so now that I got my girlfriend playing on her phone over there, I have gotten all of our cables are disconnected over here. One thing left to do is there's some big Allen bolts. It says it's a 1/4 inch Allen bolts to just pull the bars off. I already disconnected all the wiring. I did loosen these up with the 3/8 drive before I started doing this. So that way I didn't want to strip anything out. I want to make sure it's nice and easy. And this should be the last one. And when I pull this out, the bar and the riser clamp that's right here, it's going to come right off. Of course, I could be wrong. Let's see what we get. Come on, clamp. You gotta pull a little bit on the bars. Yeah, the bars take the clamp with it. Look at that. So here's the clamp, the risers, everything, the cables all come off as one piece. I put that down with everything else I have over here. Now we have it stripped bare. This shell's going to come off next because I've seen a couple of these that have been left on it and I do not like the way it looks. I'm going to have to get the wires cleaned up. So this is going to be a 2-part process. So now that we have the bars off, everything is sitting over there safely out of the way. I get to see what my new stainless bars from Arlen Ness look like. These are, let me read the label. Put it in front here. I don't know if you can see that. This is the MX Moto handlebars stainless fitment cable and TBW, which is throttle by wire. Part number is 520042, and these are in stainless. I want something that's going to stand out a little bit. So first I wanted the black. They said they didn't have any in stock, and then he said the stainless looked really cool. And ooh, that's going to look good. Oh yeah. So these are going to be the bars that are going to go on top of the risers. Perfect. They're going to sit right about here. It's going to be badass. I also, while we're talking about stuff, I did manage to pick up some from Big's Harley-Davidson. They hooked me up and got me some of these black grips. I thought these would look pretty cool on the stainless bars, and it goes along with the bike. I did have the Kahuna grips before. I didn't think they would really look good with what I'm shooting for on this bike and the build I'm doing. And I'll get back to you guys soon. So I just ran into my first challenge. Not a big deal. I'm trying to get this damn grip off so I can slide the switches off. And by the way, the way you take these off is they just slide off. The throttle slide just pops off pretty easy, and then you slowly feed the cable through as you're pulling on it steadily without ripping the wires out. This side, I can't get the damn factory grip off. Since I'm never gonna use it again, I basically just took my trusty little pocket knife and I'm cutting it off. Okay, so I gotta say, so far things are going super well. Bars are wired up already. I've done bars before, and I've never had one like a motocross bar before, but I managed to get those through by almost pushing them through, basically. So that stuff is all reinstalled. The wires are all done and set up over there. And you can see all the parts I've been taking off to make it so I can do this without scratching. I noticed all the towels on things, the wrap, like again. And here's where we're at right now. This is what everything looks like. Gonna be getting rid of this shell. Gotta pull this clamp off, and I believe that comes off from underneath. Don't know yet, find out soon. Right now where I'm at, I'm following the directions step by step, which is kind of unusual for me. And I just pulled this top clamp, or excuse me, this is the bottom clamp that the gauges attach to. So your gauges will go in here. And I believe I'm just supposed to be putting in some Loctite. So I'll let you know how that goes. But I just want to show you step by step. By the way, in case you're wondering what this is just blue painter's tape. I am doing my best to avoid scratching anything. Honestly, these risers are artwork, and I want to make sure they look that way. Okay, the next thing I did is I pulled off the shroud, and I'll show you the shroud in a second. It's super easy. There's 2 Torques over here. It's a T40, and it pulls off 4 screws. You're gonna 1 on each side, or 2 on each side, excuse me. And then you can basically pull this entire fork shroud. That's this guy here. It's just a little piece of cheap plastic here that comes off. I'm not gonna reuse it, don't care. Also takes this little bottom piece on, which I am gonna reuse and put that back on. Goes in there. Where I'm at now, and this is interesting, is I gotta pull this top clamp off. Actually, excuse me, bottom clamp off the top of the triple tree. It appears that there is, I'm gonna try to get some lighting in here and see if you can see. I don't know if I can get in there, but it's, I'm gonna get my finger on it. Kind of tough to see, but there is, I swear to you, a 3/4 inch bolt that I am going to have to twist and make work. Interestingly enough, and I don't know exactly what happened, while I was moving the wheel around, because obviously I don't have handlebars on, the fork lock locked. So I had to fart around with this guy, put it back in, and keep playing with it until I got it to work. That was a little sketchy, because I'm like, wow, I didn't know that could happen, since I thought I had taken it out. Anyway, moving on, I'll get that bottom clamp off the top triple tree soon, and then we're going to be moving on to the next step. So anyway, what I discovered, I was actually going to put this all back together, and the bolt that comes with it, I just put it down, oh there it is, the bolt that comes with it is too short when you put the urethane bushings in there. It says it on the front of the box, but I was a little frustrated that I wasn't given this direction or supplied the bolts, because as I'm going to put it back together, I got stopped for a day, had to go to work, stopped by Home Depot, and I picked up these, which I could not find 2 1/4 long, which was recommended on the box. So I'm going with 2 1/2. I threaded it last night, measured it, should work just fine. Okay, so our next step is going to be feeding these wires through. So what I did is I mounted the bolts down here. They're 2 1/2-inch bolts that go underneath, and I showed you guys a second ago what size you need to get to make this work. And you have to kind of wiggle around, move the wheel back and forth. Yeah, you have to, I would say you have to basically just go back and forth to get that bolt in there with the cap. I do the urethane bushings underneath here, pull it through, good to go. If you want more detail on that, I'll be happy to explain it to you if you want to put it in the comments. Next thing you do is feed the wires through. Now these wires are going to go through a little hole just like this one right here, went through on this side, slide down through here, and then they're going to pop out right here where this guy's popping out. That's to keep the wires hidden so you don't have a big ugly mess here that I've seen in some other videos. Don't know why they did it that way, but I'm not going to do it that way. Downside is you basically have to pull off all the electrical sheathing, which is this guy, so they'll fit through there. Now I'm only doing that on the right side. I believe that the left side, which is going to be this guy right here, is going to fit through by itself. But on the right side, you have to do the throttle by wire and the switch pack coming through there. It's a little too thick to fit through there easily. I figured, what the heck, they're going to be protected mostly from the elements. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal this with a little bit of silicone once I'm done. And down here, you're not going to see anything because I did get some wire wrap that's going to look pretty cool. Realistically, the only thing that's going to kind of look weird is going to be this guy, I think, but we'll see how it goes. I'll be back after I get these bars in there, get it wired up, and I'm just going to torque these guys down. By the way, I did torque these guys go down to an 18. The ones on the bottom coming up that actually mount the risers go to 30 foot-pounds. Make sure you do torque them. Put red Loctite on the bottom ones, blue Loctite on the top ones, because hopefully you're never taking these guys off again. So you want to put red Loctite, be a bear to get them off if you ever need to do that. These you may be loosening occasionally to play with. Same thing with the top clamp that's going to go on the bar in case you want to change the angle. Okay, this is getting exciting. Like really, really exciting, because I've got the wires through. All of my wires are fed through here. They're all coming out the bottom. They're going to look nice and sano when I'm done, or hopefully so. What I did is I took some electrical tape and I hooked these 2 connectors, the ones that are coming from over here that you have to run 2 packs through here. I took these and I just taped them to there and used the main harness, the big harness, to pull the other 2 through. Actually pretty simple. This side just slid right through, popped right out. Nice engineering, everything fit to size. I'm gonna wrap some of this up. The only big problem I'm seeing right now is I've got like little bit of extra wire going on over here that I'm gonna have to figure out. So anyway, before I put this all together, I wanted to show you all what it looked like as it went in. And then these are basically, I got a little owie, first blood on the bike, nice. This is just gonna be completely hidden away. There theoretically shouldn't be any wiring sitting in this area, which is really, really cool. It's gonna look sano. And as I just finished filming that last 3 seconds of video, I realized I made my first oops. My first oops was not reading the next direction, because it says the left-hand side, you'll be pulling the switch pack harness and gauge cluster harness that we have supplied in the kit. Be pulling the end of the gauge harness that is just pinned with no connector. That'd be this guy. I forgot that I have to do something for the gauge cluster. Duh. Anyway, so I'm going to try to feed this guy in through the left side. It may be a little bit more of a challenge. I thought I was done. I'll hopefully be done with this in a minute or two. We'll see. So here we are a week later, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. Here's all the parts that I've taken off the bike, and I'm going to show you one of the reasons I had to wait for a few days. And it's this guy right here, or these guys right here. So these guys are what goes on the back right over here, where you would mount your clutch, sitting back here, but it doesn't fit. Now it has this little thing here, let's see if I can see a little proboscis here, that sticks out on the stock bars where it just goes into a little hole. The problem is they're too long. So where they sit, which is right here, it goes right into the bend. I did not want that look. They'd probably make it work, but I thought it would look kind of silly. I'm planning on keeping this bike for a long time. I want it to be done right. So I had seen somewhere, and I think it was maybe in one of the Thrash and Supply videos, where they were talking about it. And so I had to order these guys. And first of all, I want to show you the box. The box is super cool. That is really, really, really neat. I like that. When you open it up, it's kind of they have a little scan thing that goes right to their website. But this is super cool. So here, first of all, thank you for the stickers. And by the way, I'm paying for all this stuff myself. And Thrashin, if you're watching this or somebody mentions it, I would love to be hooked up with some of your boards, because you have amazing stuff. I just can't quite afford it yet. So these guys right here are going to take the place of this. So if you take a look, this is the Thrashin one. Let's get a little scratch there. Ooh. Well, it's going to be on the inside where no one's going to see it, so nothing on the outside, right? Okay, cool. These were not cheap. They were, I think, about $140, something like that. And here's, let me get a close-up here if you're looking for what the part is. And they are called Perch clamps. Okay, and basically they are going to be the last step that I have left on the bike before I can go take it for a ride tomorrow. So I'm gonna get those installed, show you what everything looks like, shine up the bike a little bit, take it for a spin tomorrow, see if I like my bars. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I gotta say I'm pretty excited. She looks fantastic. I haven't polished her up or anything yet. She's been sitting for a couple of weeks while I've been waiting for parts and doing some other stuff. Wow. I just got the Thrash and Supply Perch clamps on there. Thanks for getting them to me so fast, guys. These are the guys right here. I'm a little concerned because there's a gap at the bottom, and they're about as tight as I want to do without stripping it out. Let me see if I can get a shot of that. Right there, see that little gap there? So I'm gonna lob a call over to them next week and see if maybe they sent me one that was a size too small. I don't know. It's working, it holds them in place, everything works. I got everything lined up where I think it's gonna work. It's evening right now, so, and it's like 40 degrees, so I'm not gonna be going out for a ride. So here's some of the stuff that they don't really tell you about. This is cleaned up quite a bit. If you saw what it looked like, the mess that was there before, it's cleaned up quite a bit. I'm gonna throw a little riser bag right there, and Marvel Kid 87 actually did that in his video with the exact same setup, so it's kind of funny. Same thing I'm gonna do. Eventually I'm gonna get a different triple clamp and hopefully feed all this wiring through the center and get it out of the way. But right now that's where it's at. As you can see, and I'm gonna do it from like a bird's eye view here, from me riding. This is what it looks like. Here's my hand. Like I said, the gauges are not, so here, let me get to where my face is right here. Gauges are not bad. I mean, they're right there. They're in your face, but they're not intrusive. It looks really good. So I'm gonna go over a couple things that I ran into that were, honestly, much bigger pain in the butt than I thought. One of which you guys saw the last video. I wanna reach out to Grizzled from roadglide.org, who got me the right answer. Turns out the entire wiring harness, there's 2 wires that you can swap, and they're the CAN bus wires. And for some reason, they don't make them idiot proof. And long story short, I swapped them and immediately fixed the problem I had last time with getting the bike to work. Next problem I ran into, because you do have to pull the ignition off. Right now I have nothing covering that. I'm gonna be eliminating this when I go in for my first service. I'm gonna just get the CVO flash. I actually ended up pulling out the fork lock. Since I'm gonna get the CVO flash, I'm gonna be removing most of that anyway. So I pulled the fork lock out because it kept getting stuck while I was screwing around. I wanna give a shout out to Ryan Erlocker from Law Abiding Biker. I got stuck on the stupid ignition switch, could not get it to work right. Found a video that he had done and showed how to line, there's basically 3 pieces you have to line up perfectly to get it to work right. So thank you, Ryan, appreciate that. That was really cool and helped me out a lot. As you'll notice, I also have a San Diego custom seat on here. I have ridden about 10 miles on the seat. I have no idea if it's good or bad or indifferent, and I kind of wanted to wait until I got the bars on and everything, make sure it's all gonna work. I also have a Freedom Shields 12-inch shield coming, maybe arriving by tomorrow. I wanna thank John for getting that out to me so quick, and his crew over there at Freedom Shields. Those guys are great. I did try a 14-inch Clockworks, and I immediately sent it back. I couldn't see through it. It was probably just the wrong height. And I've had kind of hit and miss with Clockworks before, so you know, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna get the Freedom Shields because that's what I ended up going with last time. You also notice I do have the Custom Dynamics lights in here, and we'll go over all this stuff later. I've also put some exhaust on here while I was waiting. A whole bunch of stuff arrived in the past couple weeks. So these sound awesome. They're the Chromeworks. I actually got them off of eBay, believe it or not. They sound amazing. Like I said, it's nighttime. I'm not gonna start up. My neighbors probably wouldn't like it too much. Tomorrow, I'll probably go out for a spin, see how I like the bars and their position. I didn't really torque it down too much yet because you can rotate these forward, back. You can get a higher rise bar if you want. And that's the nice thing about doing the riser setup is if you really hate the riding position, it's probably a 2-hour ordeal to replace these bars. Maybe, yeah, probably about 2 hours. With this setup, it's basically you pull this back off, it's not that big a deal. It's a couple of screws, pull the wiring back out and get a different rise bar if you wanted to get something taller or shorter or wider or skinnier. I don't know, whatever you want to change on there. Anyway, I'm really, really excited. This is the culmination of a lot of things. This video is probably going to take a little bit to put together because I have, honestly, about 20 different little segments that I've done on each little piece that I've attached. By the way, this little bag I picked up on Amazon for like $9 or something. It's not quite what I want, but it'll work for now. Also picked up some really lame floorboards that my girl wanted to go for a ride this weekend. I haven't decided on what kind of floorboards / MX boards or whatever I want to go through. There's some really nice ones. Thrashin makes some really nice ones. Flow Motorsports makes some nice ones. Got to kind of see what the budget's going to allow for because I've kind of blown a lot of money in the past few weeks to get all this stuff. And funny thing is I still have 118 miles on the bike. Anyway, y'all, I really want to thank you for sharing this experience with me. It has been honestly one of the biggest changes I've done to a bike in a long time. You know, I used to race crotch rockets back in the day when I was a little bit younger and used to tear those down, but it's been a long time since I've tore down a 100-mile bike and made it into something new. So I'm excited. I will get back with y'all soon. Like I said, this video, I may actually do this in 2 parts because it is getting kind of long and I like to keep my videos under 10 minutes. So I want to thank everybody once again for watching. Appreciate you all. And please, I never asked for this, but I'm going to start asking because apparently I can get almost like $20 or $30 a month if I can get more subscribers. I've got about 604 subscribers, I believe, right now. I want to thank each and every one of you. I do appreciate y'all, honestly. Thanks a lot. Also, Go ride safe. Spring is here. Oh, so excited to go for a ride tomorrow. Talk to you all soon. Bye now.